guys. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how we're going to crochet these super cozy leg warmers. Okay, so what you're going to need is Bernat premium yarn is what I've used. You can use any yarn you want. I'm going to be prompting you at different stages of this project for when to take measurements. So if you are using a different yarn, you can do that and follow the measurements. There is a link to a leg warmer size chart in the description below, as well as some other helpful links. If you need any of these materials that you're seeing in this video that you might not have, you can go ahead and click the link to the materials page, or the I can't remember exactly what I've named it in the description below, but there is a link down there that will take you straight to the page where you can order online all of these materials that you see here that I have, and it'll be shipped right to your house. Actually, it'll just open you up into a link where you can have it direct ship straight to your door, and it's through Amazon. So if you have Prime or whatever, you get free shipping and really fast. You'll need a pair of scissors, stitch markers. These are my favorite that I personally love to use, but you can use any stitch marker that you like. A 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, and is there any other materials? Oh yeah, and your measuring tape. Obviously, I don't have that up here with me right now, but you need a measuring tape as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is make your starting loop. So you're going to wrap the yarn around your finger, just cross it over loosely, like this. Pick up that piece of yarn that's underneath and push that top bit through, just a little bit. Pull it and that'll give you the loop. There's lots of different ways to make your starting loop. If you already know and you have your way, go for it. If you, there's lots of different ways to hold your yarn, hold your hook. So just whatever makes you most comfortable. Don't mind me, I tend to hold mine strange at different times. That's what happens when you are self-taught. Okay, so we are going to begin by doing a chain of 5. So you're going to yarn over your hook and pull the loop right through the loop that's on your hook, and that's a chain. Yarn over, pull it through. Yarn over, pull it through. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so now working in the second chain from the hook, so not this one here, but this one, we're going to do a half double crochet. So you're going to yarn over your hook and push your hook right into that chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull right through all 3 loops on your hook. And that's a half double crochet. Okay? We're going to do again in the next chain. And you're just going to go ahead and continue with your half double crochet in each chain down the row. So we did make a chain of 5, but because we started working in the second chain from the hook, you should only have 4 stitches in your row. Okay? What we're working on right now is and I want to apologize that my background is a light color and the yarn I'm using is a light color. I hope it's not causing confusion, but anyway, hopefully you can see okay. My apologies. Didn't quite think that part through, but anyway, moving right along. My hook is gray, so you should be fine. Okay, so right now what we're working on is the cuff of the upper opening of your leg warmer. So when you're looking at, and this is just going to be the height of it, like we're obviously, that's not wrapping around anyone's leg except for a Barbie. So if you are working on different sizes, and I'm going to prompt you here at different points when to measure, okay? But you can always go ahead if you're ever unsure of anything like that. I do break it down in the written pattern, which is available in the link in the description below. Now, the written pattern is a paid pattern. So if you just go ahead and click that link to go to the written pattern anyway, you will see where I give the materials needed, the terms used, and I do break down the different measurements for this leg warmer, okay, without you having to buy the pattern. Okay, but I'll also mention it here in the video. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next step. So you're going to chain 1, and turn your work. Okay, now we're going to back loop half double crochet in each stitch across. So when you're looking at your stitches up top here, some of you might already know how to do a back loop half double crochet, but for those of you that might be a little newer to crochet, I'm just going to slow it down for a moment and show you. So when you're looking at your stitches here, you're going to see that it's in the shape of a V. Okay, you see that there? So normally you would go right through your stitch like that if we were making just a regular half double crochet or any other stitch. But we're going to be doing a back loop half double crochet. So when we're doing it, we're going to go right over the stitch and just go only into that back loop. All right. Just wanted to really point that out for some of you who might not have done this stitch before. So go ahead and wrap your yarn over your hook and go into the back loop of your first stitch there. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all three. So you're just making your half double crochets as usual. It's just that you're working in the back loop only. Okay, so back loop, half double crochet in each of those 4 stitches down your row. Okay, chain 1 and turn your work. So now you're going to continue working those back loop half double crochet in each stitch across, chain 1, turn your work. You're going to keep doing that. You might want to push pause and grab a pen for this part because here's where I'm going to give you some measurements. If you're working on an extra small size, which I'm working on this for my, the sizing is in women's sizes, but extra small, I'm making for my 10-year-old daughter. Okay. So depending on the size that you need to work. So if you're making an extra small leg warmer size like me, you are going to go for 26 rows total. So we've just worked 2 rows of half double crochet here. So you're going to do 24 more rows working the back loop half double crochet. If you're working on a size, so that's for an extra small. If you're working on a small, you're going to do it to 13 inches. If you're working on a medium, you're going to go to 13.5 inches. If you're working on a large, you're going to go to 14.5 inches. And if you're working on an extra large, you're going to go to 15 inches. So go ahead and keep on working your back loop half double crochets, making sure that you chain 1 at the end of each row before you turn your work. When you get to the length that you need for the upper opening of your leg warmer, come back and I will show you what to do next. Okay, so now that you've finished all of your rows, you're going to fold your work in half, lining up the last row that you've just crocheted with the first row. And we're going to close this and make a seam doing slip stitches all the way down. So you're just going to push your hook through the first stitch here right at the corner and make sure that you go through to the other side. You're going to yarn over your hook and just pull it right through both of the loops on your hook. Okay, and that's a slip stitch. So you're just going to go ahead and do that all the way down. Okay. All right. Okay, so now that you finish closing your seam, you're going to chain 1. And this next part depends on how many rows you've worked. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet. Obviously, we're working down the side of our work, so it's not actual stitches. We're going to be just working our half double crochets evenly all the way around. And now what you're going to want to do is line up your half double crochets with each row. Okay, so for me, I did 26 rows. So by the time that I finish doing my half double crochets evenly all the way around, I should have 26 half double crochets. Okay, so depending on how many rows you worked, that's how many half double crochets you should have all the way around. All right, so I'm going to do the first couple to show you how you can go ahead and gauge where to put them. So you're going to go ahead and look at where's the first row here and just push your hook in there. Okay, and work a half double crochet. There's my next row. So I'm just going to push my hook in there and work a half double crochet. So you're just going to do that all the way around and then come back when you're back at the start here. Okay, so now that you're back at the start, you're going to close your round with a slip stitch in that chain 1 space that you started this round with. Okay, and now you're going to chain 2. Now what we're going to do is double crochet in 2 times in our first stitch. So yarn over, push your hook through the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, and that's a double crochet. So we're going to do another one in that same stitch. And if I'm working too quickly on any of these stitches, you can obviously just rewind this tape back and go like the video back and play it again. Or you can have a look at the video tutorials that I have on my channel. I do have specific stitch tutorials where I spend a little bit more time on particular stitches. Okay, so now we've done 2 double crochets in the first stitch. We're going to do 1 in the next, 2 in the following, 1 in the next. Now for those of you that are following my exact stitch counts, if you're making the same size that I am right now, at the end of this round, you're going to have a total of 39 stitches. But obviously the stitch count depends on how many you've got going on. Don't sweat it so much. Just make sure that you're paying attention and alternating, doing 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 1, all the way around. When you get back to the start, come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now that you're back at the start here, you're going to close with a slip stitch in the top of the chain 2 space. So here's your chain 1, there's your chain 2. You're going to close with your slip stitch in the top of that chain 2 to close the round. Okay, now we're going to chain 2 again. And now we're going to work 1 half double crochet in the back loop. Okay, so we're going to back loop half double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. All right, so working in the back loop only, we're going to work 1 half double crochet in the back loop in every single stitch all the way around. When you get back to the start, you're going to close with a slip stitch and chain 2 and then come back. Okay, so now that you have closed with a slip stitch and chain 2, after working your back loop half double crochets all the way around, now we're going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch. So the full stitch, not just the back loop for this round. Okay, so 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Let's pull up a little more yarn there. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to continue on alternating these rows. So right now we're working 1 double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. When we get back to the start here, we're going to close with a slip stitch and chain 2. Then you're going to work a back loop half double crochet. Close with a slip stitch, chain 2. Work 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you're going to continue alternating between double crochets and back loop half double crochets until you've done a total of 10 rounds and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished working those 10 rounds, and the fact that it's 10 rounds doesn't matter what size you're working on, okay? Now also, we're about to do decrease rounds. And I want to explain something really quickly for a moment. It might not make sense to you when I say it right now, if you're not used to working decrease rounds, but it will make sense when you complete rounds if this is applicable to you. Obviously, if you're working on a different size than me, you're going to have a different stitch count, okay? So what I'm about to tell you, and I'm going to show you how to do it, but we're going to be working in half double crochet. We're going to be working in the back loop for our half double crochet round as we have been. You should have finished on a double crochet round here, okay? We are going to go and work a half double crochet round. And we are going to be working in the back loop, just like we have been, but we are going to be doing decreases. So for example, for this round in particular, we're going to work a half double crochet decrease. So let's go ahead and do that right now. You're going to yarn over your hook like you would for your half double crochet. You're going to go into that back loop like you have been, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, but just hold them in place and push your hook in the very next back loop. Yarn over and pull up another loop. Yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. So now what you've done is you've taken these 2 stitches and you've turned them into 1. You've decreased this round now by a stitch. Okay. Now we're going to half double crochet in the back loop for the next 10 stitches. Just 1 half double crochet in the next 10 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now this is the part I was talking about where it might not make sense to you why I'm making you do stitch counts right now when you might be working on a different size. I want your decreases, your decreased rounds, to decrease by the same amount no matter what size you're working on. Okay? It might not make sense to you right now, but when you're looking at your leg warmer, as you continue on, you'll see what I mean, okay? Because it's all relative. So we've done a half double crochet decrease, and then we did a half double crochet in each stitch, working in the back loop only, of course. Okay, so now we're going to do another decrease. So you're going to yarn over your hook, put your hook into that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, push your hook in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 4 loops. And then go ahead and work in the next 10. I'm doing this whole round with you because I want to show you something at the end. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do another decrease. Okay, another 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're getting back to the beginning here. Decrease. And this is what I wanted to show you. You might be here and go, but hold on, there's still one more stitch. Or you have a different situation here depending on what size you're working on, okay? Just finish off the row. If you don't have any more to do another 9, or maybe you know, 9, do your half double crochet. Maybe you have a few more stitches to do, but it's not another, 10 of them or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just finish off the row, even if it means you've only got one little half double crochet to do, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and close your round with your slip stitch and chain 2 to begin the next round. Now for this next round, you're just going to go ahead and work your double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so just go ahead and work your double crochets in each stitch around You're going to close your round with your slip stitch in the top of your chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2 to begin the next round, and then come on back to this video and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so you'll have come around. I'm sure you probably already did this part where you close with your slip stitch and chain 2. Now we're back to another back loop half double crochet round, and we're going to do one more decrease round. So we're going to do our half double crochet back loop only, decrease, oops, okay, decrease, and then half double crochet in the following 14 stitches. Okay, so you're going to do one half double crochet in the back loop of your next 14 stitches, then do another decrease. Do another back loop, half double crochet for 14, and then do another decrease. Continue that all the way around, and don't forget, however you're ending your round, doesn't matter. I'm wanting your rounds to decrease by the same amount no matter what size you're working on. Okay, so go ahead and do that and then come back. Okay, so now that you finished that last decrease round, I've pulled my hook out just for a second because I'm going to go and put in my stitch marker now, because we're going to be needing to keep track of where we finished our decrease rounds and where we began to continue on with our regular pattern. So our regular pattern being no more decreases, but you're going to be working now. So we've just finished doing our decrease round and we were using the back loop half double crochet round for that. So now this next round that you're about to do is going to be your double crochets. And then you're going to do your back loop half double crochets, just regular, no decreases. Then your double crochets, back loop half double crochets, so on and so forth. Okay, now you might want to push pause and grab a pen for this part because I'm going to give you some counts or measurements depending on the size that you're working on. If you're working on an extra small like me here, you are going to continue on with this until you hit 18 rounds from this point. If you're working on a size small, you're going to want your total work, like from here all the way until what you're working on right now, for it to reach 20.5 inches. If you're working on a medium, you're going to want 21.5 inches. If you're working on a large, you're going to want 22.5 inches. And if you're working on an extra large, you're going to want 23.5 inches. So go ahead and continue on with your regular pattern until you reach the length that you need based on the measurements I was just giving you. And then come back and I'll show you how to finish up. Okay, so now that you've worked your leg warmer to the length that you need, depending on the size that you're doing, we are going to move on to our next step now. So now we are going to work, and we're working on our full stitch now, not the back loop. We're going to do a half double crochet decrease. And then we're going to do one half double crochet in the following 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do another half double crochet decrease. And you're going to go ahead and continue alternating all the way around. So doing now you've just done a half double crochet decrease. You're going to do one half double crochet in the following 5 stitches, then a half double crochet decrease. You're going to continue all the way around, close with a slip stitch, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that decrease round, you're going to chain 2. And you're going to work 1 double crochet in every single stitch all the way around. When you get back to the start, you're going to close your round with a slip stitch and then chain 2. So go ahead and continue with your 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around, close with a slip stitch, chain 2, and come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round of double crochets, we're going to move on to our next step. So now we're going to do a front post double crochet around this first post here. So you're going to yarn over your hook, and instead of going into the stitch, you're going to go right in between these posts here. You're going to push your hook in through the front and bring it around the back and out the other side there. So you're literally pulling the post to the front of your work. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops. And that's a front post double crochet. Okay. Now in the stitch right beside it, we're going to do a regular double crochet. Okay. And now every single post belongs to a stitch, or every stitch belongs to a post. Okay, so now we've just worked our double crochet in this stitch. So we're going to skip over this post because this post belongs to this stitch. Okay, so we're going to now do our front post double crochet around this one. And that's why this stitch, so we're working around this post. This stitch is getting skipped over because it belongs to this post. All right. So we're going to do another front post double crochet. I'm going to do this one with you again. So yarn over your hook, push your hook in between these posts, pull it around the back through the other side of the post. So you're pulling the post to the front of your work. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Okay, so we've worked around this post, and that's why this stitch got skipped, because it belongs to this post. Now we're going to go do a regular double crochet in that next stitch. We're going to skip this post because it belongs to the stitch that we just worked in. So we're going to do our front post double crochet over here. Okay, I hope that explanation makes sense. If not, just rewind back and have a look again. It does make sense, I promise. It's I know it could be a little bit tricky when you're just starting out, you know, some of these concepts. But they are a lot more logical than we think. It just can be a little confusing at first. So hopefully I've helped to simplify that explanation a little bit. So go ahead and continue on alternating between your regular double crochets and your front post double crochets all the way around. Close with a slip stitch and then come back. Okay, so now that you've finished that round, I just like that round because I think it gives a really nice look to the ankle cuff of your leg warmer. So now just to finish it off, we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to clean up this edge by doing slip stitches all the way around. So you're just going to push your hook into, well, I'm sure you know how to do slip stitches by now. You've been closing every round with a slip stitch. All right, so you're just going to go ahead and through every single stitch, you're just going to work a slip stitch. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Close the round with a slip stitch in your chain 1 space, and then come back and I am going to show you how we're going to finish it off. Okay, so now that you've finished that round of slip stitches and you've closed your work, you're going to just pull up a little bit of a tail end there. Fasten it off and pull the rest of that through. And using your yarn needle, now don't forget that we are right now working with our leg warmer inside out, okay? So don't flip it around when you're hiding your tail ends right now. We're hiding it here on the inside of our leg warmer. So just thread your needle with your yarn. Be a little tricky sometimes, right? Okay. And then you're just going to use your yarn needle and just sort of like weave the tail ends in and out of some of the stitches just to really secure it and hide it so that when you fasten it off, you don't have that little like loose piece of yarn, like the little end of it sticking out of the top and the bottom, because that's really annoying. So just through a few stitches is fine. And then go ahead and fasten that off. We can take our stitch marker out now. Okay, and then this is our tail end from where we started our work. So let's just go ahead and secure that through. I just like to do it a couple times right there. Fasten that off. And then you can flip your work the right way because, like I said, we've been working with it inside out all the while. And you've got your super snuggly, adorable leg warmer. So now you are just going to go ahead and do the same thing. Follow these steps to make your other one, and then you've got a pair of adorable leg warmers. I hope you enjoyed this pattern, this tutorial. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and go ahead and have a look at all the other tutorials available, and have a look at the helpful links in the description below. God bless.